Greetings, friends. It's Josh.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're here today for another exciting episode of the Dead Tired Dads podcast.
A podcast for gamers who don't have time to game.
Indeed. Now, we've got something that is a first in our podcast history. You know, the short history of our podcast. This is a first. I've got an update on a game.
Oh, okay.
Because, see, like, back when I was growing up, once you got a game, that was the game.
That was it.
You were stuck with whatever they put out, whatever product
for better or worse
they put out was what the game was.
That was it.
But in our modern era of gaming, they can put out a game that's missing a key feature and then update it and fix it. And so Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remastered.
Yeah, that's right.
So I broke out this game. I was like, I hadn't played it in a while. I wanted to, over the holidays, I was like, I'm going to break this game out. And so I pulled it out. And the one complaint that I had about it, that you couldn't go back through and play the game, like play each level with each skater.
Yep.
They had updated and they had added that feature in. So for me, like, that took that game as like, this is a great game, everyone should buy it, to be like, if you don't have this game, like, you are missing out on something incredibly special. And that, so, as highly as I recommended that game previously, I put it like even higher now. Like, if you don't have Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remastered, go buy it right now, because it's only like $30 on every console and it's incredible fun. Like, you can play that game for forever.
That's a pretty good price for what you get and for the replay value of stuff like that. That's a good deal.
You can literally play Tony Hawk games whenever, however, they're so easy to just pick up and play. So that's my freebie recommendation on the day, and update on that. So
we now have such an established history to our show that we can do updates on previous episodes, because that's just how good we are.
20 episodes. That's. I don't know what that says. Like, does that say something about technology, about how quickly things can change and like update? Like, I don't know.
Well, so this is a really positive example of this concept of being able to like fix games, patch games, whatever you call it. But sometimes there's really negative examples.
Okay.
Like, there's one particular studio that I won't name, but they're sort of infamous now in meme world for just like releasing games that are clearly not finished, buggy messes.
Sure.
And as gamers, we all just accept it and know that they're going to patch it later.
We'll fix it in post kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll fix it in post rather than put out the finished product.
So I won't name drop, but if you're a gamer, you know who does that. And
that's one thing that I in general I kind of respect about Nintendo's pretty good about, like, if a game's not going like the way that they anticipated, they're like, we'll just postpone it.
For the most part, theirs are like, when they release, that's the finished product.
Like the whole Metroid Prime 4 thing that going on, right? Like, that's been in development for years now.
Yep.
And I don't remember when it was, but in the last year or so, they like came out and were like, yeah, we scrapped the whole thing and went back to square one, because it, like, the way that the direction it was going and the product that we were getting from the company that was making it was not what we wanted. So, sorry, but we're not going to put out.
Take a little longer.
We're not going to put out a garbage product and try to fix it later. Like, so I can respect that at least. But
yeah,
so there's good and bad that come with it, I guess. But I just think that's an incredible, what a time to be alive kind of moment. It
really is. It really is a cool thing. And like, downloadable content, DLC, expansions, they can just sort of seemingly like drop in the middle of a week. And you're like, oh, there's extra content to play. So that's another fun thing.
That gets into the like whole concept of like what constitutes a game. Is it done when it's, I don't know, like when it comes out, if it's not a finished product and you've paid $60 for it, and
Right.
they want you to pay more for it,
Yeah.
to get like,
Which is another
again, it's the
other side of the coin,
right?
so
The
to
pros
speak.
and cons of DLC. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool for the most part. You know, especially if they're able to take something that, like I said, was sorely lacking in my first playthrough experience with that game. Now the funny thing is that I just thought about, like, I don't know when the last time, like before, like the holidays, I don't know if that had been added. Like, I don't know when the last time was that I had actually played that game.
Ah.
And so it's entirely possible that when my review of that came out, that they had actually already fixed that, and I just missed it.
I think the much more likely thing is they heard our show and were like, "Oh, we have to fix that right away."
Josh is very upset with our
we must
product.
fix
We've
this.
got to fix it right
that
now.
seems much more likely to me.
I'll buy that. So Ryan, do we want to just go ahead and, I mean, do you have anything like that? That's kind of the intro discussion that I had kind of wanted to make sure that we did the follow up there. How's your week going? Like, anything fun, interesting, new, crazy?
Well, you know, it's 2022.
Yes, Happy New Year.
So
we've made it there.
I'm trying, and obviously we're very early into the new year, but I'm trying this new thing with gaming now.
Okay.
I made my own self-imposed game queue, if you will. So like a queue for my games of what order I'm going to play them in.
Okay.
Because as I've mentioned in the past, I have this terrible, terrible habit of I'll start a game, get halfway through it, I'll get a new game, and I'll start that one, and I never finish games. And so I'm trying this self-imposed order where I wrote down all the games in my sort of backlog, if you will, and I chose what order I wanted to play them in, and now I'm trying my best not to deviate from that at all. So
nice.
We'll see in a couple weeks how that's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. And so we'll check back in March and see how your game queue is going. You know, in Japan, there was a GameCube that came out that could play DVDs, and it was called the GameCube.
Really?
Yes. So a little bit of trivia there.
Interesting.
Anyway.
GameCube.
Or maybe it might have been an attachment. I don't remember. Don't shun me. I don't know these things. I just remember it vaguely. I haven't looked it up in a while. So
that is pretty cool though.
Yeah. So anyway, so the GameCube is Ryan's list, and also a GameCube that can play DVDs.
As I said, I didn't really think about it, but as I said GameCube, I was like, that's a terrible name for it. I gotta have a different name.
We gotta figure out a different name.
Sounded way too much like the GameCube, yeah. But what can you do?
It's all good. It's good. It's good.
Oh gosh.
All right. Well, Ryan, what have you got for us this week?
Well, at the top of my list, my don't have a name for it GameCube list is Paper Mario.
Paper Mario.
And just to be clear, this is the original Paper Mario on Nintendo 64.
Paper Mario 64, because that came out recently in the in the Nintendo Online thingamabob. And
Josh can tell you via my mad texting that I was very excited about that. Yes. So this is a game I played through as a kid when it first came out, and I remember loving it. So I was wondering how well it held up, and it holds up.
Okay.
Let's just say it holds up. So, Paper Mario Nintendo 64 as part of that expansion pack for the Nintendo Switch. This game, for me, sort of really, I won't call it perfect, but it really fits what we're looking for when we are looking for like a family-friendly, busy parent type game. I looked it up, howlongtobeat.com, 23 hours.
Okay.
So, for what we're considering, maybe on the long side, but not bad when you think about it's on the Switch, so you can play it on the go. But yeah, not terrible, not too bad.
Yeah, 23 hours doesn't seem like, an extensive amount of time. Like, it's a couple weeks worth of gaming.
Yeah, it's really not bad. And although it does have a story, it's pretty easy to follow and keep up with. So it's not like this thing where you can't play for a week or something, you're going to forget everything.
Right.
It's very kid friendly. So it's Mario. In fact, it's Mario RPG. It's a role playing game.
Right.
But yeah,
meaning Josh will
never touch it. But it's Mario, Josh. Do it.
Maybe we'll see.
So it's a role playing game and it's Mario, family friendly. The gist of it, the reason it's called Paper Mario is when the game begins, it's like this like fantasy or sci-fi book opens, and there's somebody reading this book, and then you play the game almost as if it's like a choose your own adventure book. Is kind of what's going on.
Funny.
So that's how the game plays. So it's very kid friendly because it's all Mario characters. Just they are paper versions of Mario.
Right. So it's origami. Like,
yeah, it is.
Ish. Yeah. I mean, I vaguely recall when the game came out, and like as a collector, like it's one of those things that like I wish that I had bought back then, like, because now like it's like impossible like to get for any kind of relatively like
it's probably very pricey now.
It's a very pricey game. But you know, it was never my cup of tea. But so that being the case, I don't know a whole lot about it. Now, do you just play as Mario, or can you play as other characters?
So that's one of the things that I really remember loving as a kid. I'm sure that they did this somewhere, but I don't remember it other than Mario Kart. This is one of the earliest times I remember playing as other characters beside Luigi, other than Luigi. Like,
gotcha.
This is one of the first times. Mario Kart is the exception, obviously.
Well, they did that in Mario. Well, sort of Mario 2. So like the American version of Mario 2, like you could play as Peach and
Toad.
Yeah,
that's right.
They all had different because Peach could kind of fly, Luigi jumped high, and Toad. Yeah.
So
you there, but
in very typical RPG style role playing game, if you're not familiar with the terms, you can assemble a party.
Okay.
To go with you, and you can get various characters to join you. There's like you can get one of the ghosts. You can get a let's see. You can get a Goomba. You can get a Bob-omb. You know, some of those types of characters to join your and it's very linear, so it's not like you just get any of them. There's specific ones that join you, but yeah, and then again, each of them have their own sort of special skills,
right, as is typical with RPGs.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I always thought was so cool about it as a kid was like I'm used to, for the most part, controlling Mario and defeating all these people, and now some of them are actually joining me.
Sure,
so. Yeah. But to go back to your other question or your point, you called it origami, and it is. In fact, the new Paper Mario is called the Origami King, which I meant to mention last week when we talked about games from the year that we wanted and didn't get to.
Yeah.
Because I love the Paper Mario franchise, and I did not get to play that one yet.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there you go. So that's another bonus thing from.
So another
from
freebie.
Week. We have that happen a lot.
It
do. Seems like where it's like, oh, I forgot to talk about this on the previously.
Just sprinkle it in next time.
Add it into the next episode.
So I highly recommend this game. Kid friendly, family friendly, fun story, but not anything over the top that you really, really have to focus on. My 7-year-old son loves to watch me play it. And he has just recently learned to read, so he's reading all the dialogue,
cool.
which is really fun.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I can't recommend it enough. It's a great game.
Sure. And one of the best things about it is that if you've already subscribed to the Nintendo family pack or what, the expansion pack, with all the online stuff,
you just have it.
You've got it.
You've already got it.
It's free.
Yep.
So congrats there. You win.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Paper Mario 64.
Mario 64, play it. Very good.
Basically, almost any game on the 64 is almost certainly a solid game if it's made by Nintendo anyway.
That's true.
Like, some of obviously anytime you get third parties involved, there's madness, but if it's a Nintendo game on the 64, you can pretty much guarantee it's a recommended.
That's true.
Recommended.
While you were saying that, I was sitting here trying to think of like a bad one, and I just can't.
Yeah,
I really can't.
I mean, again, not that Nintendo made. There are bad games on the 64.
Oh, I can think of some of those.
There are bad games on the 64.
Not made by Nintendo.
Yeah. So, yeah, awesome. So I have something a little bit different today because after Christmas, and so we're just getting into the new year, and so after Christmas I got some extra money, and I had been setting some money aside, and I wanted to get this thing, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it, and so I did it.
You did it. You were talking about it, and you did it.
I did. So I went and got an Oculus. And so rather than talking about a specific game, because I don't have that many games on the Oculus, and I know that people, probably don't have, like most people don't have the Oculus yet. It's not
that's
out there.
fair. Yeah.
So I want to kind of just talk about the Oculus. And so I got the pimped out version with the bigger memory. So I can't remember how big. I think it's 256 gigs.
Nice.
I think. Don't hold me to that. I guess the box is right over there. I could go look at it, but that would take up too much time. Anyway, so I got an Oculus, and thus far, I love it. So $400. So cheaper really than the newer.
Cheaper than the new consoles.
The new consoles.
Yeah.
I mean, not as cheap as a Switch, but cheaper than an Xbox or a PlayStation 5. And from what I've played on it thus far, so one thing that you should know, and I may have talked about this before previously, I'm not certain. I don't go back and listen to all of the episodes after I edit them, so I don't remember talking about this, but when Guitar Hero came out, and you can stop me if I have told this before maybe. When Guitar Hero came out, I bought a PlayStation 2. I was a senior in high school. I bought a PlayStation 2 with graduation money just to get Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero.
Like, that was the only reason I wanted a PlayStation 2, was because I wanted Guitar Hero. And the first Guitar Hero was exclusive to the PS2.
Oh, it was, wasn't it? I forgot about that.
And so that summer, so I had graduated high school that summer. For about a month and a half, my summer consisted of waking up in the morning, playing Guitar
Hero all day,
eating lunch, playing Guitar Hero, eating dinner, playing Guitar Hero, going to bed. That was straight through for basically a month and a half. So the first game that I decided to buy on my Oculus was Beat Saber,
of course,
because that is basically rhythm games. I like rhythm games. I never got into DDR, but if I had a chance now, I would probably be all up in that.
Oh, we should buy some DDR pads.
We should get
and
some
put them right here.
Yeah, we could do it.
Oh man, that would be fun.
So anyway, I am addicted to Beat Saber, just like I was addicted to Guitar Hero. I love it very much. My arms hurt. So last night, I don't remember when it was. It was a couple nights ago, but I tried to play, and I couldn't keep going because my arms hurt so bad. So it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy Beat Saber. It's that's just kind of a one particular game. But the whole experience of an Oculus itself, if you haven't tried one, it's very immersive. It very much feels like you're there. It's a very well made product. It's very well made product. Very, very cool, and it delivers what it promises.
Yeah.
As far as that immersive experience where you feel like what's happening is actually right there. They make it's really easy to get set up and do stuff with, and there's a lot of really great stuff you can do with it. I mentioned Beat Saber. It's very active and gets you up and moving. And so there are some really cool things that it can do. I'm curious to see how it kind of moves forward in the future with gaming and stuff like that, and does it especially in the way that it can revolutionize certain industries like the fitness industry. Like Nintendo's tried several times to come out with things that like to keep people like not just people like playing video games, but people keeping people active while gaming and to do things. And so there are some really cool things that have already come out on there that that have that potential to do those kinds of things to really like change the way that you're thinking about exercise and like getting in shape and being fit and that are fun and interactive and cool. There's so the main thing that I've seen on there is called Supernatural. We signed up for a free trial on there, so I've tried it a little bit, but it's hardcore, man. And good stuff. So
yeah, I have to echo your sentiment about how well made it is. So I think either the day you got it or the day before, very close to when you got it, I texted you because I knew you were thinking about getting one, and I texted you to tell you that I had just played a friend of mine's Oculus, and the thing, like I mean I knew what virtual reality was and I knew how it worked, but the thing that really sort of blew my mind was he set it up and had me do I don't know what the official name of it is, but I think it's like just Google Maps or like Google Earth or something like that. And he took me to like this
might be Wander.
It could be, yeah.
Wander.
He set it all up for me, and then he like took me out to this location, this huge mountain, and you're like kind of over the top of it, looking down at it. And what struck me was like off to my right was this village like that was around a big lake or river. So I was like looking down at it, and you're kind of floating along, looking over the landscape. And so just out of curiosity, like, you know, you're looking in the Oculus. Well, I looked behind me to my right, and the whole thing like pans, and that village is still back there.
Right.
So like it's not just looking straight ahead and that's your only thing. The world is around you if you just move. And that's what, like, when I turned behind me and saw the stuff there, that blew my mind because I didn't expect that.
Well, and the other thing is for me was like I find myself so there's a mini golf game that I got that I found myself, you know, you're like your ball's up against the wall or like on the mini golf course, and you're like, well, how am I gonna hit it? It's against the, but it's like the wall's not actually it's there, not Josh. You like you can stand inside things. These things aren't there, but you don't like
it tricks your mind.
It totally tricks your mind.
Yeah.
And so like even though it all looked like and there's a Star Wars game that I got that like
oh, that looks so good.
That I was playing through that like it's very much I don't know that I necessarily recommend the game. Yeah, but like just seeing it, like seeing, you know, you're on Mustafar and just seeing like the lava and like the you know the volcano and all this stuff, and it's just like, dude, this is crazy. Like you just feel like you're there, and you're like looking down, you're looking at the floor, but it feels like you're looking down into like lava flows, and it's just like so crazy. So yeah, it's such an experience. So now some drawbacks. It's like when you're setting it up, they're like in the paperwork and stuff like that. It's like recommended for ages 13 and up. So if you've got small kids, you know, it's not necessarily something that they recommend them using. And you have to have in order to set up a profile on the Oculus, you do have to have a Facebook profile because it's owned by Meta. Or formerly known as Facebook. So there's that. And so, you know, take from that what you will. You know, I don't necessarily want my kids in it anyway because that's one of those things. Like, it's definitely one of those things that, like, even, like, as an adult, like, when I first got it, I was in there for, like, you know, hours at a time, like, just staring, like, just up in my and granted, like, the thing is, it gets you up off of the couch and gets you moved, like, you're, like, and so, trying to, you know, it's a new year, if you want to get in shape, get an Oculus.
You know what's funny about you telling that Guitar Hero story is I have no trouble believing it because the day you got the Oculus, twice that day you told me you weren't playing it because the battery was dead. Because you charged it all the way up, played it all the way to dead, charged it, and played it all the way to dead again.
Well, I think what happened was like it doesn't come fully charged, and so like I had to plug it in like immediately. Like after I got it set up, it was like we're dead, and so like I had to plug it in, and then I played like once I wanted to play it so bad, so I think it got up to like 50%.
Oh, I see.
I don't think it got all the way charged,
Yeah.
but yeah. So, but I did play it a lot, and literally, like that week, So on my lunch breaks, I'm able to come home like from work. I'm able to come home because I live close enough to where I work.
You live close enough.
And so I was like on my lunch break. I was like, I pondered this a couple of days. I was like, I should just like not eat, and I'll play Beat Saber for the full hour.
If you have a gaming addiction, please call.
Instead, I ate my sandwich and then I played Beat Saber. So
that's
for
funny.
the next, however long I had. But so yeah, I think that, like I like what they're doing. It's hard for me to say that because it like I said, it is Facebook.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to actually say like I really like what they're doing with this, but from a gamer perspective, it is very cool, and I think it has a lot of there's a lot of potential there. So if you can save up the money, or if you've got $400 lying around that you want to, honestly, this is just my opinion. If you're thinking about getting a PS5 or getting an Xbox,
don't you dare say it, Josh. Don't you say it.
Like if you've got the money for that,
yeah,
I think you might be better off just going with the Oculus.
Save $100.
Yeah.
Use that on some games.
Yeah, and also, they have this recommendation thing. I don't know if it's still going on, but one of the reasons that I got it, I had someone who posted on Facebook that like, hey, is anyone thinking about getting an Oculus? I've got this way that I can get $60 and you can get $60 to spend, and just let me know and I'll send you like the request. And so I got $60. Like that was one of the things that kind of pushed me over the edge.
Even
was that,
better.
like I got $60 free to spend within. I promptly spent most of that on downloadable content for Beat Saber. So I guess this is more of a topic about Beat Saber.
So
than
this
Oculus,
is a Beat Saber review within an Oculus review.
I mean, I have a problem with rhythm games. Like that's really what it boils down to. Is like rhythm games are my kryptonite. Like give me a rhythm game, I will literally play that forever. Man, if like I would love for them to come out with another like a good Guitar Hero. They haven't come out with or a Rock Band with a good drum set. That would be awesome.
Rock Band, that was fun.
Rock Band was amazing. I loved Rock Band. The only problem is that the drum sets that they came out with were garbage.
And everyone wanted to be the drummer.
And and most people don't know actually how to play the drums, and so like they,
Yeah.
And that's really the problem is because they anticipated that people wouldn't know how to play their drums, so they made a crap drum set.
So they made them not drums.
And so when someone actually who knows how to play drums like actually sits down on it and like is wanting to play drums constantly and on like it just destroys the drum set so quickly. I broke many a pedal, and a couple of kits. But I loved Rock Band. I loved when it came out.
It's a good one.
I miss it.
There's another freebie for you.
Yeah, another freebie if you haven't played Rock Band and can find find it.
Yeah.
For with all the accessories for a relatively good price with things still working, go for it. So, anything else, Ryan, that you've got?
That's all I got
today. So we talked about Paper Mario. We talked about the Oculus. If you like this episode, you can leave us a review. You can like us. You can follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter for the updates that randomly come out on there, if ever.
It's true.
And do all the things that we talk about all the time.
The things.
Share this. Comment on Facebook on it. Let us know what you think. If you've got ideas for games or things you want us to talk about, please.
Oh yeah, send them our way.
Send that stuff our way. We'd love to. We do this for you guys. This is for you.
This is for the fans.
Right. All 6 of you.
Does that include our wives?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
absolutely.
Okay, we're doing really well then.
We're doing great. No, seriously though. If you do have, if you're listening to this, please let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for listening, and we will catch you next time on the next episode of Dead Tired Dads podcast.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.